Hi, everyone. I have had significant numbers of students that have had a hard time dealing with hanging indents. And even though it's in a video, I think it's worth doing a separate video on this because it's something that you will use quite frequently, but it's something that we don't use often enough that we remember the first time we're taught this. We don't quite remember how to do this. So I am going over I have two examples here, and there's a couple of things I want to mention about this. First of all, when you are doing a citation, and this could be at the top of, this is a reference if you're an APA, this is a citation if it's MLA, regardless of what you call it. In academic writing, we want double spaced, even the references, even in an annotated bibliography. This will be up at the top of the paper, but it will be double spaced. And if you'll notice here, this is also bold printed. It's 11 font, it's Arial. Arial is fine. Actually, that's my favorite type of font. I don't know why. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this formatting. First of all, I want to make it 12. And I want to take out the bold print. We don't use bold print in academic references. So what you'll notice here is that this looks like a normal paragraph. And in a normal paragraph, I would want you to indent like this, but this is going to be the opposite. A hanging indent is where we take the name, either the last name of the first author in our source, or it could possibly be our our title of our article. If we don't have an author, we would have just the title. In this case, this is actually APA, so we don't have quotation marks here like this around the article title because it's APA. If we were an MLA, we would have that. So that's why that might look a little different than you are used to. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to put this in alphabetical order because that is one of the things we want to make sure that we do before we write our works cited or our references page. We also have no extra space in between. And so you can see this is very difficult to catch when the first item begins and when it ends. So this is one of the reasons why we want to do our hanging indents. And I'll tell you why, another reason in just a minute. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to double space. So what I do is you can start at the beginning of a paper and do this. You can also highlight what you want to double space, go to the format, and go to line spacing. I am not sure why Google goes to 1.15 as the default. I wish they had asked me first. I wish there was a way to change our own settings because in Google, I almost always double space. So it's a little frustrating that I can't do that, but I will forgive Google. There we go. Now it's a little bit easier to read, but still not as easy to read as I would like it to be. So what we are doing with the hanging indents is we are highlighting the last name of our authors. Or again, if there is no author, we would be highlighting the first couple of words of the article title. This makes it very easy for somebody who's reading our research to go to the end of our paper and find the exact place where he or she can find the information. So this is how we do this. If I come down here, what we want is the first line to be on the margin and then everything else to be indented. That way, the last name kind of hangs, right? It hangs out in space, and so we notice it. It's easier to notice. It's also easier to know when the next item is because we can see that it's at the left-hand margin. So if we do this, if we, and I'm going to hit my tab button and I want you to watch what happens. If I go down to the second line, I'm going to hit tab. Oops, and yep, exactly. The first line tabs. The first line goes over. I am sure that what the software is thinking is, oh, Suzanne didn't mean to indent the second line. She wants the first line indented. Well, that's not quite true, is it? So I'm going to hit delete to make that go back. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the second line and I am going to hit return or enter. And you see nothing happen. You might have heard it, but nothing happened, right? And that's because what I'm actually doing is I'm hard coding a return here, and I'm saying that's the end of the paragraph, right? And my Grammarly is kicking in saying you can't end with that. Take out the space. So, what we're going to do here, since we have returned, sometimes it stays exactly where it is because it's double spaced prior to this. Sometimes it stays exactly there. Every now and then it'll jump a little bit, but it's not a big deal. So now you notice that I have two lines here that need to be indented. So I am going to hit tab, tab, backspace. Now I have a hanging indent. If it was only one line, if my citation ended here, I wouldn't have to hit tab, tab. I could just hit tab. All right. So what this does, again, hard return so that the system knows, the software knows this is the end of the line, and then tab, tab, and then to get the first line back in line here, we hit delete or backspace. Let's do that again. So here I am on my second reference. I'm going to come to the second line and hit return. Then I'm going to hit tab, tab, backspace. Now you can see that I have very clean lines, and somebody that's looking, if I am talking about Lipsy and what he or she wrote, then my reader can go immediately and find, because I'm in alphabetical order, my reader can find this information immediately. And Morris, the same thing. And we can see where one ends and one begins. Now, you might think that this is a little overdoing it because it doesn't seem like it's that important of an item. However, I have written papers that were 25 and 30 pages long, and then I will maybe have a 5 or 6 page works cited. So when you get 5 or 6 pages of this information, out of courtesy, not only is it proper format, but it's just plain being nice. If somebody has read 25 to 30 pages of your work, you want to make it easy for them to check your references. They may be checking references. They may be double checking to see if you've written something that's true to the original author. They also might think that your information is really amazing and it's something they want to use in their own research. So they are looking for the source. So this is how you do a hanging indent. Overall, you go to the second line, hit return, tab, tab, backspace, if there's 3 or more lines. All right. So that is a hanging indent. I'm going to post this in a really prominent place because this is something you probably will want to look at a few times this semester. Okay, that's it for this one. Bye.